It is wonderful to be here on this historic occasion. I'm going to be very brief. I did want to come by because this is a time for Israelis, for Jews, and for all friends of Israel to celebrate the realization of a dream and to rededicate ourselves to uplifting the promise of Israel's independence. A few years ago, in the winter of 2006, I had the great privilege of traveling to the Holy Land. And as all of you know, it's a place unlike any on earth, a place filled with history, a place filled with promise, a place that's known moments of terrible darkness, but also extraordinary joy. One of the most joyful moments came 60 years ago this week, when the Jewish state of Israel declared independence. While that day marked a new beginning, it also concluded a journey unlike any in the history of the world. It's a journey that dates back to Moses, leading his people towards the promised land, a journey that included centuries of hope for the Jewish people when their dream of a homeland was darkest, a journey that gained new meaning through the work of Zionist leaders like Theodore Herzl, and a new urgency after the terrible suffering and loss of the Holocaust. And it was a dream no longer deferred when David Ben-Gurion declared Israel's independence 60 years ago this week. The end of this journey was not the end of the challenges facing Israel. The fight for independence and the fight for the survival of a Jewish state has endured through decades of war and of terror. To this very day, the people of Israel show their uncommon courage and commitment to freedom every time they board a bus or kiss their children goodbye. But through these challenges to their state's existence, Israelis have done more than survive. They have forged a brilliant and strong democracy. They've provided a promised land for Jews from around the world. They've built a thriving economy that has spread opportunity to Israeli citizens while enriching the world. And they've developed a rich cultural life and made enormous contributions to the sciences and the arts. Israel's also developed many friendships, and none is deeper than the bond between the people of Israel and the people of the United States. It's a bond rooted in the millions of Jewish immigrants. It's a bond rooted in the millions of Jewish immigrants who sought opportunity on America's shores, in the liberation of those awful Nazi death camps in World War II, and in the courageous stance of an American president 60 years ago this week. It was not a foregone conclusion that Harry Truman would recognize Israel. Senior members of his own government counseled him not to, and many other countries would be slow in embracing the young Jewish state. But Truman stood on principle. He recognized that America shared fundamental values with this new democracy and that Israel's independence was hard-earned. He would later write that he believed a solemn promise had been made to an oppressed people, and he refused to stand in the way of the hopes and the dreams of the Jewish people. And so, minutes after David Ben-Gurion made his announcement, President Truman made the United States the first nation to recognize Israel, and our abiding friendship was born. It is a friendship rooted in shared interests, in shared values, and the shared history among our people. It is supported by a strong and bipartisan consensus in this country that I've been proud to be a part of. And it will withstand any challenge to Israel because America's commitment to Israel's security is unshakable. You know, during my visit, as I flew in an IDF helicopter during my travels, I was able to look down at the hills and the mountains that have nurtured the dreams of so many generations, while also appreciating the dangers faced by this particularly narrow strip of land between the West Bank and the Mediterranean. But what most struck me was the kindness and the resolve of the people I met, people who balanced their hopes for their children with the need to protect them against Katyusha rockets that had just recently been raining down. As we celebrate 6 decades of independence, we know that more work remains to be done to secure a lasting peace for the children of Israel. We know that even as we meet here today, there are those who still have not taken the step that President Truman took 60 years ago in recognizing the Jewish state of Israel. So let us honor the independence of this great nation. Let us celebrate the achievements of 6 decades. Let us renew the friendship between our nations and the solemn promise to seek lasting peace and security for the people of Israel. I'm absolutely convinced that our friendship between the two nations is unbreakable. As somebody who has had the great honor of running for the presidency of the United States of America, I pledge to you that I will do whatever I can, in whatever capacity, to not only ensure Israel's security, but also to ensure that the people of Israel are able to thrive and prosper and build on the enormous promise that was made 60 years ago. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you.